The Wilder family mansion stood majestically in Boston's upscale Beacon Hill neighborhood. The stone exterior and sprawling gardens told the story of a family's wealth and status that had endured for generations. On this day, the monthly family gathering was about to take place. Evelyn Wilder took a deep breath at the front entrance. Every time she passed through the gates of her childhood home, she felt a tightness in her chest. Beside her stood her 18-year-old daughter, Olivia, who gently smiled at her mother and whispered, "It's okay, Mom." The door was opened by Mrs. Jones, the housekeeper. "Miss Evelyn, Miss Olivia, we've been expecting you." Everyone is already in the living room. In the living room, Evelyn's parents were relaxing by the fireplace. Her father, Robert, maintained his dignified posture, while her mother, Carol, exuded the refined air characteristic of the upper class. Next to them sat Evelyn's sister Margaret and her daughter Brittany. "Well, you've finally arrived," Carol's voice carried a hint of reproach. She stood up and gave Evelyn a perfunctory kiss on the cheek. To Olivia, she merely nodded. "I'm sorry we're late." "The bus was behind schedule," Evelyn replied quietly. "The bus?" Margaret raised an eyebrow. "Are you two still riding those public vehicles?" She had married a wealthy investment banker and was praised by her parents as the perfect daughter. Robert cleared his throat. "Sit down. The tea is getting cold." Evelyn and Olivia quietly took their seats on the sofa. On the table were expensive tea sets and elaborate pastries. Brittany was fiddling with her smartphone, occasionally casting superior glances at Olivia. The two girls were the same age, but Brittany was dressed in the latest fashion and adorned with expensive accessories. In contrast, Olivia wore a simple outfit of jeans and a sweater. "Brittany has wonderful news," Carol said happily. "Her name has been included on the Boston Elite School's honor roll. We're so proud." "Congratulations, Brittany," Evelyn said politely. "Yes, indeed," Margaret continued proudly. "After graduation, she'll be attending Princeton University. It's not a full scholarship, but thanks to my husband's connections, her admission is secured." Robert beamed with pride and said, "That's my granddaughter. She has such a promising future." Evelyn glanced at Olivia, who was quietly sipping her tea and listening to the conversation. No one asked about her plans. "By the way," Robert suddenly turned to Evelyn. "Have you heard from that divorce lawyer? You should make sure he's paying the child support properly." Evelyn took a deep breath. "That was over 10 years ago, Dad. We're fine. I'm managing with my salary. Your little clerical job can't possibly provide anything worthwhile for Olivia," Carol sighed. "Getting divorced so young was the biggest mistake of your life." Margaret looked at Evelyn with seemingly sympathetic eyes. "My company still has an opening for a receptionist. Interested?" Evelyn maintained her smile as she answered, "Thank you, but I'm happy with my current workplace." In reality, she worked as an editor at a small publishing house. The pay wasn't much, but it was a place that recognized her abilities. "Well, Evelyn was never one for practicality," Robert said, raising his glass. "Olivia, what about you? College plans?" There was a sarcastic tone to his question. Olivia answered politely, "Yes, I'm considering several options. The local community college, I suppose?" Carol smirked. "Well, that's the realistic choice for your situation." Evelyn suppressed her anger. She knew that Olivia had actually achieved top grades in the state and had been approached by several prestigious universities. However, Olivia had asked that her grandparents and Margaret's family not be told about her success. "Olivia, your graduation is coming up soon," Margaret said. "It's on the same day as Brittany's, isn't it? We're planning a big party. Will you both come?" Her words carried a superficial kindness, but there was an underlying condescension. Evelyn squeezed Olivia's hand. "Of course. It would be wonderful to celebrate both girls' graduations together." As they were leaving, Olivia whispered to Evelyn, "Mom, they'll understand someday. How strong we are." Evelyn hugged her daughter. A refreshing May breeze swept through the vast campus of Boston Elite School. On graduation morning, graduates and their families gathered in the schoolyard with cheerful expressions. Evelyn adjusted the collar of Olivia's graduation gown, tears welling in her eyes. "Mom, don't cry," Olivia gently held her mother's hand. "Today is a happy day." "I'm sorry, I'm just so proud of you," Evelyn smiled. "You've worked so hard." Across the schoolyard, Margaret's family was having an elaborate photo session. Robert and Carol stood around their granddaughter Brittany while a photographer took continuous shots. Noticing Evelyn and Olivia, Carol waved them over. "Oh, you're both here. Let's take a picture together." The whole family. In the group photo, Brittany stood in the center while Olivia was positioned at the edge. Robert and Carol stood on either side of Brittany, displaying proud smiles. Evelyn inwardly sighed, but years of experience had taught her that this was how family worked. The graduation ceremony proceeded solemnly and smoothly. When Brittany and Olivia's names were called in succession, loud cheers erupted from one corner of the venue. James, Margaret's husband, was filming and cheering while using an expensive video camera. After the ceremony, the Wilder family gathered at an upscale restaurant, Lucille, for a celebration. In the private room that Margaret had arranged in advance, a banner read, "Congratulations graduates, Brittany and Olivia," though Olivia's name appeared to have been added as an afterthought in smaller letters. "This is a special day, so let's open the finest champagne," Robert declared, ordering an expensive bottle from the waiter. "A toast to our family's pride, our two graduates." During the meal, conversation centered almost entirely on Brittany's school achievements and her future at Princeton University. Questions about Olivia were perfunctory, like, "What about you?" and before she could answer, the topic would revert to Brittany. By the time dessert was served, Robert stood up. "Now, I have an important announcement. Today we celebrate the graduation of two young women. And special days deserve special gifts." He pulled a small box from his pocket and handed it to Brittany. With excitement, she opened it and took out a car key. "No way." Her eyes sparkled. "Yes," Robert smiled broadly. "It's the white Mercedes-Benz S-Class parked in front of the restaurant. You can travel to college in style now." Brittany squealed with delight and threw her arms around her grandfather's neck. "Mom, Dad. This is the best gift ever." "Thank you." Carol kissed her granddaughter's cheek. "You've worked hard, so you deserve a fitting reward." The room filled with cheers and applause. Evelyn quietly smiled and clapped, as did Olivia. They exchanged glances, and Olivia gave a small shrug. As the excitement settled down, Robert spoke up again. "Olivia, of course there's a gift for you too." Evelyn tensed, straightening her back. She worried about what her parents might do. Robert signaled to a waiter, who left the room with something. "Let's go out to the garden," Robert suggested. Everyone moved to the small courtyard behind the restaurant. There stood an old bicycle. What was once red paint had peeled away, the chain was rusty, and the tires were deflated. Evelyn recognized it as the bicycle she had used in her childhood. "This is..." Olivia was at a loss for words. "Yes, it's your graduation gift," Carol interjected. "It's what Evelyn used, but it should still be perfectly usable. A child who doesn't try doesn't need something new." Heat spread across Evelyn's cheeks. "Mom, what do you mean? Olivia has worked incredibly hard." "Calm down, Evelyn," Robert gave his daughter a stern look. "Face reality. Brittany is a promising honor student, but Olivia is, well, she's your daughter. You never lived up to high expectations either when you were young. If Olivia is going to the local community college, this bicycle should be sufficient." Margaret's expression was apologetic, but her eyes held a triumphant gleam. Brittany played with her new car keys, casting a disdainful look at her cousin. Evelyn trembled with anger. "Olivia is..." But Olivia placed a hand on her arm. "It's okay, Mom," she said quietly but with dignity. "Thank you for the bicycle. I'll take good care of it." She approached the rusty bicycle and placed her hand on the handlebars. Her expression showed not sadness, but a strange determination. "My, how obedient you are," Carol said sarcastically. "But that's what's appropriate for you. The celebration ended shortly thereafter. As they were leaving, Brittany climbed into her new car, showing it off to her friends on a video call. Margaret's family, Robert, and Carol got into luxury cars and departed, leaving Evelyn and Olivia behind. Evelyn and Olivia walked toward the bus stop. Evelyn couldn't contain her anger. "I'm so sorry, Olivia. To be treated like that. I should have done something." Olivia squeezed her mother's hand firmly. "Mom, it's really okay. They don't know anything about me, and they don't want to know. That's why I want to follow my own path. But compared to a car, that rusty bicycle. That's what's good about it." Olivia's eyes had a strange light. "They underestimate me. That will be my strength." Evelyn looked intently at her daughter's face. Olivia's expression showed more wisdom and strength than she had realized. "Just watch, Mom," Olivia said quietly. "I'm going to follow my own path from now on. On that bicycle." As they boarded the bus, Evelyn felt a strange sense of reassurance. Her daughter was stronger than she had thought. A week had passed since the graduation ceremony. Evelyn and Olivia's apartment was on the third floor of a modest building in a Boston suburb. While not spacious, it provided enough room for the two of them. From the window, they could see a small park, and the walls were decorated with photographs of their memories together. Olivia's bedroom door was always slightly ajar. This morning, Evelyn noticed her daughter sitting at her desk, writing something. Olivia's hair was casually tied up, and she was wearing glasses, seriously examining some documents. "Breakfast is ready," Evelyn knocked on the door. Olivia hurriedly put the papers in a drawer. "Thanks, Mom. I'll be right there." The kitchen table was small, but it was a comfortable space for the two of them. The morning sun streaming through the window brightened the modest room. "What were you doing?" Evelyn casually asked. Olivia answered while spreading honey on her toast, "Just organizing some paperwork." Evelyn studied her daughter's face. It was clear that Olivia was hiding something. The two had relied on each other for years. While she wouldn't pry, she was concerned. "Actually, Mom," Olivia suddenly spoke up. "I've been applying for some scholarships." Evelyn looked at her daughter in surprise. "Scholarships? For which universities?" "Several," Olivia answered vaguely. "But the results aren't in yet, so don't get your hopes up." Evelyn took her daughter's hand. "You've achieved excellent grades. Any university would be happy to have you." Olivia smiled, but there was something indescribable in her eyes. "Brittany will drive up to college in her new car, but I'll be going on that rusty bicycle my grandparents gave me." "That bicycle." Evelyn couldn't contain her anger. "It's truly awful. I'll buy you a new one." "Don't, Mom," Olivia suddenly turned serious. "I want to treasure that bicycle. And..." She paused before continuing, "I have a small plan." That afternoon, Evelyn's cell phone rang. The display showed Margaret. She took a deep breath before answering. "Evelyn? You can make it to the family party this weekend, right?" Margaret's voice carried its usual sense of superiority. "We're celebrating Brittany's admission to Princeton. It's going to be a big party." Evelyn closed her eyes. "Of course, Olivia and I will be there." "Wonderful," Margaret said. "Oh, by the way, we're going on a European vacation this summer. It's Brittany's graduation gift and our last family trip before she starts at Princeton. We'll be touring Paris, Rome, and Barcelona." "That sounds wonderful," Evelyn replied quietly. "Do you two have any plans?" Margaret's question contained a sarcastic tone. "Yes, Olivia and I are." Evelyn chose her words carefully. "Working on some special plans of our own." After hanging up, Evelyn gazed out the window. In reality, their summer plans consisted of volunteering at the local library and a small trip squeezed between Evelyn's work commitments. That evening, when Olivia returned home, she seemed unusually excited. "Mom, I have some good news." "What is it?" Evelyn asked expectantly. "I've secured a summer internship at the Boston Public Library." The pay isn't much, but it will be a valuable experience. Olivia's eyes were shining. And she pulled an envelope from her bag. This also arrived. The envelope had the Harvard University logo printed on it. Evelyn gasped. Is this? I haven't opened it yet, Olivia said nervously. Will you look at it with me? They opened the envelope and read the letter inside. It was an invitation for an interview from Harvard University. As part of the selection process for a special leadership program, an interview would be conducted the following week. Olivia. Evelyn hugged her daughter. This is wonderful. Why didn't you tell me before? Olivia smiled somewhat sheepishly. I didn't want to get your hopes up. And I didn't want my grandparents or Brittany to know. Evelyn understood her daughter's intention. Olivia had always been underestimated. She was trying to forge her own path independently. But how did you get a notice from Harvard? Evelyn wondered. You never even told me you applied. My high school guidance counselor helped me secretly, Olivia explained. She read my essay and specially recommended me. She put together my high school grades and record of community activities. In that moment, Evelyn gained a new appreciation for her daughter's hidden abilities and deep determination. Olivia had been quietly carving out her own path. The weekend party was grandly held at the Wilder mansion. Tents were set up in the garden, and a catering service served French cuisine. Banners celebrating Brittany decorated the entire garden, and many friends and relatives had gathered. When Evelyn and Olivia arrived, Carol greeted them with a superficial smile. Oh, you've come. Perfect timing. Brittany has been wanting to introduce you to her friends. Brittany stood at the center of a circle of friends, her face radiant with smiles. Her new Mercedes-Benz was parked in a place of honor in the garden. This is my cousin, Brittany pointed at Olivia. She graduated from the same high school. You're going to the local community college, right? Her words were clearly tinged with a sense of superiority. Olivia smiled gently. I haven't decided yet. But how are you planning to get anywhere on that old bicycle your grandfather gave you? One of Brittany's friends laughed. Well, Olivia answered quietly, you can get to where you want to go on any form of transportation. Throughout the party, Evelyn and Olivia maintained a low profile. They enjoyed the food, engaged in minimal conversation, and smiled for photographs. However, it was clear to everyone that the two were treated as outsiders in this lavish gathering. My daughter will major in economics at Princeton, Margaret declared loudly at the center of a group. She'll probably take over her father's company in the future. Robert placed his hand on his granddaughter's shoulder and nodded proudly. The future of the Wilder family rests with Brittany. Evelyn held Olivia's hand. Her daughter's expression was calm, but her eyes held a light of determination. As the party drew to a close, Carol approached Evelyn. What is your daughter planning to do? According to Brittany, she doesn't seem to have any particular goals. Evelyn took a deep breath. Olivia has her own plans, mother. Really? Carol raised an eyebrow. What can that girl possibly do? Without effort or talent. Mother, Evelyn said in a quiet but firm tone. Please don't talk like that when you don't know anything about Olivia. Carol pursed her lips. Believe what you want, Evelyn. But face reality. You and your daughter, in this family, are. She left the sentence unfinished. After returning home, Evelyn stopped by Olivia's room. Her daughter was sitting at her desk, earnestly writing something. What are you doing? Evelyn asked gently. Preparing for my Harvard interview, Olivia answered. And she opened her desk drawer and took out some documents. Take a look at this. Evelyn took the papers. They were scholarship approval notices. It was a special academic scholarship that would cover all tuition and living expenses. Olivia. Tears welled in Evelyn's eyes. This is amazing. Don't tell anyone yet, Olivia said with a serious expression. Especially not my grandparents or Aunt Margaret. I want to tell them in my own time. Evelyn nodded. She understood her daughter's wisdom. Olivia was carving her own path. And when her success became apparent, it would be more than just a surprise, it would be a shock. I'd love to see their faces, Evelyn couldn't help saying. Olivia smiled. I'll show you, Mom. Just wait a little longer. At the end of August, as the summer heat began to gradually subside, another family gathering was held at the Wilder home. This day was the last family party before Brittany's enrollment at Princeton University. Margaret's family, recently returned from their European trip, brought back suntanned skin and shopping bags from luxury brands. The dining room of the Wilder mansion was decorated in Princeton University's orange and black colors. In the center of the table was a cake that read, "Welcome to Princeton University, Brittany." Evelyn and Olivia sat quietly in a corner of the room. Olivia wore a simple but clean dress, her hair styled simply. Evelyn noticed a calm confidence in her daughter's expression that she had never seen before. "You've finally arrived," Carol offered a formal greeting. Brittany just finished packing her room. She'll be moving into the dormitory the day after tomorrow. "Congratulations," Evelyn said politely. "Olivia, what about you?" Robert asked bluntly. "Have you completed the enrollment procedures for the local community college?" Olivia smiled serenely. "Yes, my university preparations are complete." Her answer was ambiguous, but no one noticed. Brittany entered the room wearing new clothes. "Everyone, look at my new Princeton hoodie." She was wearing an expensive hoodie with the university logo. "I'll also show you pictures of my dorm room. It's a special room with a private bathroom." Robert gazed proudly at his granddaughter. "You're the keeper of the Wilder family tradition, Brittany. Success at Princeton is the first step toward future success." During the meal, the conversation revolved around Brittany's college life and her bright future. Margaret spoke about the importance of networking at Princeton, while Robert and Carol made no attempt to hide their expectations for their granddaughter. "Olivia, what will you be studying in college?" Brittany suddenly asked. Her tone carried an obvious sense of superiority. The room grew quiet, and all eyes turned to Olivia. "Actually," Olivia began calmly, "there's something I'd like to tell everyone." Her voice had a composure and confidence that hadn't been there before. Evelyn intuitively understood what her daughter was about to say. She secretly squeezed Olivia's hand, providing encouraging pressure. "Don't tell me you're getting married?" Margaret said dramatically. "You're far too young." "Or could it be?" She narrowed her eyes. "Are you pregnant?" "Margaret!" Evelyn exclaimed. "No, nothing like that," Olivia replied calmly. "I want to talk about my college plans." Carol sighed. "Oh, that. Well, community college isn't so bad. Given your abilities." "Actually," Olivia quietly stood up. "I'll be attending Harvard University." A silence fell over the room. "Excuse me?" Robert asked with an expression of disbelief. "I've been accepted into Harvard University's special leadership program," Olivia continued. "With a full scholarship." "You must be joking," Margaret started laughing. "Harvard? You?" Olivia took an envelope from her bag. It was an envelope with the official Harvard University logo. She removed the acceptance letter and documents explaining the scholarship details, placing them in the center of the table. "I applied on my own and was accepted on my own merit," Olivia's voice was quiet but powerful. Carol reached for the documents, examining the contents with trembling hands. "Is this real?" "Yes, it's real," Olivia nodded. "The special leadership program is an opportunity given to students who have demonstrated excellence in both academics and community service. The scholarship covers all tuition and living expenses." "But why?" Robert struggled for words. "Why didn't you tell us about this?" "Grandfather, you hardly ever paid attention to me," Olivia answered frankly. "No matter what I did, I was never valued like Brittany. So I had no choice but to forge my own path." Brittany's face reddened, her expression a mixture of anger and embarrassment. "But Harvard is better than Princeton. They're both excellent universities," Evelyn said gently. "Both of you should be proud." But the atmosphere in the room had clearly changed. Robert fell silent, and Carol was still staring at the documents. Margaret was visibly disturbed. "Can you actually attend?" Carol asked doubtfully. "A girl like you, not from a wealthy family?" "The scholarship will cover everything," Olivia answered confidently. "Plus, I've saved money from my library internship." "But what about a car?" Brittany suddenly said. "Are you going to Harvard on that rusty old bicycle? Everyone will laugh at you." Olivia wore a gentle smile. "I intend to treasure that bicycle," she said proudly. "That bicycle has made me stronger. It taught me the importance of moving forward on my own power." Robert suddenly stood up. The color had drained from his face. "I need to." Without finishing his sentence, he left the room. Carol followed her husband with a confused expression. Margaret couldn't contain her anger. "What is this about? Are you deliberately trying to ruin Brittany's special day?" "Not at all," Olivia answered quietly. "I just want to walk my own path, just as Brittany is walking hers." Evelyn stood next to her daughter, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Olivia has been quietly working hard all this time. Without anyone's help." After a while, Robert returned. His expression was hard, with complex emotions seemingly at war within him. "Olivia," he looked at his granddaughter. "I didn't know you were so." He chose his words carefully, capable. "You never tried to know, Dad," Evelyn said quietly. Robert said nothing, but for the first time, there was a new look in his eyes as he regarded Olivia. Carol still wore an expression of disbelief, but she kept checking the documents repeatedly. "That bicycle," Robert suddenly said. "It was inappropriate. I should get you a new." "No, grandfather," Olivia interrupted in a gentle but firm tone. "That bicycle is enough for me. In fact, it has become an important symbol for me." A tense silence filled the room. "We'll be going now," Evelyn said quietly. "Brittany, we wish you success at Princeton." As she and Olivia stood up, Robert suddenly called out, "Olivia." Olivia turned around. "I wish you success at Harvard." Robert's voice had an uncertain quality that she had never heard before. After leaving the house, Evelyn and Olivia quietly got into the car. Evelyn had just purchased a used car. It was a modest vehicle but a cherished possession for the two of them. "Well done," Evelyn squeezed her daughter's hand. "You've truly become a strong woman." Olivia smiled. "It's thanks to you, Mom, for always believing in me." As she started the car, Evelyn glanced at the Wilder mansion in the rearview mirror. She felt that the family dynamics had changed forever. "That bicycle?" Evelyn asked. "Are you really taking it to college?" "Of course," Olivia answered with determination. "That bicycle is my starting point. I never want to forget it." 1 year later. Olivia's dorm room was small but filled with her personality. By the window, that rusty bicycle stood proudly. A small tag attached to the handlebars read, "My Origin." "The view from this room is wonderful," Evelyn said, looking out the window of her daughter's room. She had come to Boston for the weekend to spend time with her daughter. "Mom, look at this," Olivia proudly showed her transcript. "I'm in the top 5% of the special program." Evelyn hugged her daughter. "I'm so proud of you." Olivia was recognized not only as an honor student but also as a student leader. The support group she had established for scholarship students was highly regarded within the university. Meanwhile, Brittany's path had taken an unexpected turn. After completing her first semester at Princeton University, she suddenly announced she was taking a leave of absence. Rumor had it that she couldn't keep up with her studies and had been living a life of constant partying. Margaret tried to explain her daughter's break as a journey of self-discovery, but her face always showed signs of anxiety. Her own relationship with her husband had also begun to show strain. Robert Wilder was the person who had changed the most over the past year. After learning of Olivia's success, he quietly began to follow her academic progress. At Christmas, he gave her the latest laptop computer. The attached note read, "True effort deserves reward." Carol still seemed to harbor complicated feelings. She wasn't fully willing to acknowledge Olivia's success, but Evelyn knew that she secretly told her friends about her granddaughter's name appearing on the university's dean's list. "Grandfather called," Olivia said while drinking coffee. "He seems interested in my research project. He wants to meet and hear about it." Evelyn's expression showed surprise. "Really? Dad does?" "Yes," Olivia nodded. "People can change, perhaps." Evelyn and Olivia took a walk around campus, enticed by the spring weather. Students could be seen reading books or talking on the green lawns. "That bicycle," Evelyn said. "Do you actually ride it?" Olivia answered with a smile, "Of course. I often ride it on weekends. I've told my friends about the bicycle, and they were all impressed." As they sat in a cafe, Olivia's cell phone rang. Robert's name was displayed on the screen. "Grandfather?" Olivia answered the phone. When the call ended, she looked at Evelyn with a slightly surprised expression. "Grandfather wants to discuss my research. And," she continued, carefully choosing her words, "he said he wants to fund my project." Tears welled in Evelyn's eyes. This wasn't just about funding, it was evidence that Robert had finally recognized Olivia's worth. "It took time," Evelyn said quietly, "but you've carved your own path. Without anyone's help." Olivia gazed through the cafe window at her dormitory visible across campus. The silhouette of the rusty bicycle was illuminated by the setting sun. She smiled. "That bicycle taught me," Olivia said, "that no matter what your starting point is, you can move forward on your own power."